Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue our journey in discovering one more Chinese expression a day. Yesterday, we talked about multimeter, was translated as 万能表, which is sing high praise, like it can do everything. 万能 means like infinite number of abilities that this meter can do. Okay, so that's our translation of multimeter. And today we have one again in 万劫不复. And actually 万劫不复 can be regarded as an earlier translation of, because 劫 is a Buddhism concept. It was originally a Chinese concept, but again, because Buddhism came from India, and when it came to China, this language has to adapt or adopt the meaning from Buddhism to Chinese culture. So this, I will explain in the detail. Okay, again, one came from number 10, which was like this cross, but this is my guess, okay. But here, the top portion of the rope was flattened. We only see the bottom portion. This is number 10. And then we have two curved signs. Each means you squared that. You square number 10, 100. You square 100 again, is 10,000. That's my imagined explanation why this looking thing means 10,000. Like how we can culturally making sense of that numerical scale, right? And Chinese as a culture, we group things into, like a bai is 2 zeros, right? I mean, even in English, we have 100, no problem. But in English group numbers, digits into 3. We have thousands, millions, billions, right? Trillions. So every time it's a 3. But the Chinese group things into 4. So 1 is 4 digits, 4 zeros. And then we have E, which is 8 zeros. And in our translation of this billion concept, which is 9 zeros, but we have to translate into Chinese unit of zeros, which the closest to 9 zeros is the 8 zeros, is E. It's not exactly convenient, but I have to translate that way. Just like this one. English will have the unit as, I put a K, right? We all know as a kilo. So that's 3 zeros. But Chinese have 4 zeros. How are we going to trans 3 zeros? We have to 10 times of that. So there is this mismatch of the zero grouping in the two cultures. Okay, 1劫 I translated as disaster. It was not that accurate, but it probably came originally from this concept of disaster. Okay, 2 parts. Well, actually, probably 3 parts. The left side, this convex shape, right, like a bow. So imagine this is an aerial view of somebody's space. So I guess, okay, according to scholars, and I sign up for that too, because I don't see any better interpretation of the icon. So here came from the caveman age. So this is the cave. Later on, when civilization evolves, we can build things, and then we have this roof on over us, right? The shelter building. So this is before man-made shelter. This is cave. So you still find a natural shelter. You don't need to build it. It's there. You just move in, right? So this is the cave. And then the top, almost like an airplane looking thing. That according to scholars, it's somebody's walking away, walking outside their cave. So this, we can kind of see the limbs, right? 4 of them, the head, kind of super abstraction of stick figure walking in big strides. That's somebody's walking. So walking, and because the face, the head is pointing that way, so that means it's walking out. So it's going. So it's leaving, departing, going somewhere. And the right side is a plow or rake. Ancient times, the farming tool. So I guess this is one of the major farming tools. It's so commonly seen. It's incorporated into the culture to mean, okay, it's a muscle power, because who can operate that? It's toiling over the land to plow the land. And this involves quite some muscle work, right? So this eventually extended into muscle power. Li is what is pronounced. And then we have a qu, and the li. Qu means leaf, and li means power. So now the two concepts put together, what does that mean? My interpretation is li means something you can do about, you can take action on. You can sort of change the result of something, right? You have a handle on because you can muscle through something, you can power through something. That's the right side. But the left side is a contrary to that. That means it's beyond you. It's a departuring. It's leaving, right? So it's not something within your sphere. So this okay, let's put it this way. Qu means departuring, right? And it can also mean removal. So we extend it one step further. So removal of power. That means something you don't have a handle on, something beyond your control. So beyond control are, I guess, whatever life throws at us when we feel we're the victim or we are the recipient of some unfair treatment, and that's things go out of control of us, that's captured in here. So that's the definition of a disaster. Something bigger than you happened, and normally it's a negative thing. It's not a good fortune, it's bad fortune happened to you. And that's the definition of disaster. It's removing of power. It's like something happened to you, you don't have control. So now, this character was used in this, was the original Chinese meaning. Now, when the Buddhism concept came over, Buddhism concept have this, I mean, in the West, we all heard karma, right? Buddhism also have reincarnation, so rebirth. And rebirth in Buddhism was, I guess, viewed as a cycle of life. It's basically eternal loop, right? You get born or you start to exist, live your life, boom, die. So this forever circular motion is this reincarnation, basically, right? And 劫, this concept is one loop. So you come to life, you get out of life. This one cycle is translated as 劫. So one lifetime is 劫. And of course, the Chinese still have this domestic meaning, like original local meaning. That means disaster. It's something bad happened to you that's beyond your control. And this disaster sense of it's you're losing control. That sense of disaster still reserved. I mean, live with us linguistically, right? So when we see 劫, my first reaction would be disaster. I don't think it in terms of Buddhism, of complete one life cycle. Because of Buddhism, reincarnation, you have always a second chance to do it again. And it's not the end of world or end of life or end of time for you. You're going to have another reincarnation to do that again. So 劫, in this phrase, 万劫 means 10,000 loops of this. It actually doesn't mean 10,000 disasters. It means forever, like forever looping. So one, infinity, right? Forever, this reincarnation looping. Okay, that's the first part. 不劫 is a negation, like no return. 不, we came across multiple times. So here is my new understanding. Before I said this is the skyline and this is some silly birds trying to shoot up to always fly toward the sky, refuse to get back down to earth. Now, when I understand this part, this concave shape connected with vertical line, that is our symbol for enter. So the symbol of enter basically is concave shape signifies the original space. And then this sharp pointy thing is piercing or puncturing through a kind of a boundary between the old space and the new space, and you punch through that, and that puncturing through is, this puncturing through is the action of entering. So this is a Chinese expression of entering. So now the entering have this, we view it as a drapey sign, that's a fabric symbol, but it can also be stylized because it's kind of, gravity going downward. This could be a horizontal line just to indicate on the structure of the entering, which is the old space, and this puncture part is into the new space, right? So puncturing, right, the new space. And when in the new space, this drapey thing was draping over there. I wish I have the third thing to show there, the relationship. So this line was overlaying on this punctured part. So that means it's in the new space, right? So this new space is where the indicator is placed at. And this the top line is the original space. So from the original space to the new space, we can view both of them are indicators to see from the structure of this entering that this is the original and this is a new space. And this new space is kind of toward gravity, like going downward, right? Is the main, because it's longer and it's more dramatic. So that's the main indicator. That means you're staying with the new space. You're not going back. So this confirming of the new space, right? Staying on this puncture side, and this negation of the old space is where this negation came from. So basically, it's that we're staying at new space. We are saying no to the original space. We departed from this horizontal line. We are entering into this new space, and we stay there. Long-winded, but that's my no interpretation. Okay, Fu, we have this backward walking sign. Okay, backward walking. We saw the symbols multiple times in different characters. And because, okay, it's capturing the human behavior. When we're walking backward, our knees cannot bend backward, right? So we have this one leg sticking out. That's a visual representation of somebody walking, probably the other leg, and the other leg. It's hard to tell because somebody also say the whole thing structure here, if it's not bended at the end with such a long stroke at the end, it was the ancient kind of sandal, like you put your shoes on so you don't step on the floor directly, but it's super, you basically have a sole on. You don't really have much of the cover like contemporary sneakers and all that constructions. So ancient shoes are super simplified. So this could be an ancient shoe thing. And then there is this extended line that could mean like indicator to go. It's directionally, it's actually going, because this is the toes direction. This is the heel. And you're indicating you're going toward your heel side. So that's another interpretation of why this figure, either this is the sticking out the whole leg to walk backwards, or the whole thing here is the foot symbol. And this line simply is indicating you're walking toward the heel instead of walking forward toward your toe. So in any case, this is backward walking. And this part, 2 windows, so that means 2 stories with the roof on top. That means a tower. So 2nd story building probably back then was quite a building. And probably that we saw that symbol in the symbol for tall. So tall is in relevance to human size. We are 1-story building high, right? Actually, much be less than 1-story building high. So when something is 2-story building high with a roof on top, that's definitely taller than humans. So that to us is the sense of tall. or towering, the sense of towering over you. Just 2 stories is enough to show it's higher than you. And then this probably symbolize a destination, or probably symbolize a home figure, or some dreamland, some destination, right? And you're walking backwards toward it. So walking backwards here is essential to compose this meaning of return, because this probably is your departing point, and you're going somewhere, and now you're walking backward of where you came from. You retrack, going backwards to your original starting point. And so I guess here is almost like a Google map, a flag of that's the destination, and here you're walking backwards toward your destination, which is where you came from. So that's the sense of return. Whole thing, 万劫. 万劫 simply means forever, right? 10,000 means infinity. And this I translate as a disaster. That's a Chinese meaning of disaster, but Buddhism means one cycle of life. So 10,000 infinite life looping. And 不复 means no return. Like there is, like you're going somewhere and then you're not going to make it back. That means this looping somehow stopped somewhere, and it's not going to cycle back. You're not going to return to the starting point anymore. Somewhere you got to interrupt it. So some extreme things you did that disqualify you from this forever looping of reincarnation of life. That's my interpretation. So I translate it as doomed. So 万劫不复 is like, wow, too bad, out of loop. It cannot make it back anymore. 不复 means no return. All right, catching into the current thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.